All right. Well, we just want to welcome everybody back to our Friday Live. We've got a very, very exciting guest to share with you our favorite Aloha Friday activity to do.
Yes, bottling wine. And so we have our favorite, I don't know, what, Marshall, what would you call yourself? You're not like a professional winer, right?
I would say a professional wino, actually.
Wino. Yeah, whiner, wino, sommelier. But
so last week, Friday, we were actually there with our team bottling some of our favorite wines to share with our clients. So Marshall, share with us, what's the name of your company?
So it's technically Oeno Winemaking, or Oeno Winemaking. We are Oahu's only winery, and the name comes from the Greek goddess named Eno. She was the Greek goddess of wine. Everything she touched turned to wine. Now down here in Hawaii, most people pronounce it Oeno, which is technically incorrect. I say Ono like delicious, which is also wrong. We don't really care what you call it. We just want you to come and join us and have some wine.
Yeah.
And it's amazing wine. You guys have wine tastings too, right?
Yeah, so there's three main products that we do. All of our wines are made here on the premises using grape juices and skins from all over the world. And we do wine tasting with bottle purchases. We do a wine club, which is like a annual membership club. And then you can actually make your own wine with your own personalized label if you like. That's called our Winemaker's Experience.
Nice. And we have been part of that Winemaker's Experience for, I want to say over 10 years, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you guys are our longest time customers, or some of the longest time anyway.
Yeah, and for you businesses out there, you're like, a couple things I want to tell you has been the benefit for our relationship with Marshall over the years is, number one, team building. Nothing like getting some team members together to bottle some wine and sample.
Mm-hmm.
And we always like doing that. And then, Adrian, as a business owners, what do we do with the wine?
Well, we use them for pop-bys and for closing gifts. And, it's just really nice to have that nice locally made and bottled, gift to give to your clients and coworkers. Yep.
And one time we had someone come into our office with a knife. So I cracked one open and I was like, come on, go. No. That was not one of the reasons we used the wine. But I will tell you that we've never ever had a bad bottle of wine, and it really does create a lasting impression with our clients. So for you as business owners, if you want a little 2-for-1, maybe a 3-for-1, because you could do the team building thing, could be maybe a holiday thing, and then you end up with an end product that allows you to go out and show your appreciation for your clients and get you more business for next year. Adrian, keep going.
So Marshall, we've been going to your same location year over year, and then you've just recently opened up in an exciting new location, which I just love it. It's just wonderful. Can you share with our viewers about this location?
Yeah, it's, all of our customers, new and return customers like you guys, are loving the new location. It's about 3 times the size, and it's also off the beaten path in the Kapa'akori Industrial Complex. So it's way off of Kapa'akori Road, in between the Poly Highway and the Mokapu Saddle H3 Highway in Kailua. But it's kind of more in the jungle, in a more industrial area. And like I said, it's about 3 times the space. So it's much bigger, it's much more comfortable. And if you can see our winery, the new one anyway, it's just done a lot better, with a lot more room and comfortable, with our same great naturally made wine here on the premises. So yeah, you guys have been coming to us for about 9 years, I think.
Yeah, long time. And I think with this new location, because it's so large and open and spacious, like even with all of these COVID restrictions and requirements, you're still able to keep everybody far enough apart where we're
Right.
following the rules. So
Right. Yeah. Our tables are specifically spaced to accommodate COVID, guidelines, and it's well ventilated, and all of our surfaces are well sanitized and disinfected constantly. Plus, my entire staff and myself have been tested negative for the COVID virus. So we feel pretty confident that you're going to be safe, and you're also going to have a really great time if you come and join us.
okay, so let's move on to these newer wines. Yeah, Tilio, it's like on the homepage, the local flavors, the pineapple and coconut wine. Tell us, how did that come about? And yeah, just tell us the story of these.
Right. Well, we were looking for something that really shouts out to people, especially visitors, Hawaii. And what better says Hawaii than pineapple and coconut? And we looked and looked and looked through a number of different suppliers, a number of different sources, and found out that we could add coconut concentrate and then the pineapple kiwi concentrate for our pineapple wine after fermentation. So it stays really, really fresh, fruity. And the not only tourists, but locals love these wines. They are by far our best-selling wines, being just very light, low alcohol, more kind of like a sangria. So a pineapple sangria or a coconut sangria, and they're really delicious. Fruit wines are only about 30% of what we actually create, which is over 200 different wines in reds, whites, the fruit wines, and dessert wines as well. So we've got a pretty wide selection that we get grape juices and skins from all the major growing regions around the world.
And I would say, and that's part of that experience, right? Where you're doing the winemaker's experience and your wine tasting, and you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to order next? And that's always my favorite part, is figuring it out. And we ordered our first container, or what do you call it? The huge jugs. What's the proper name?
A barrel.
Yes,
yeah.
We ordered our first barrel of the pineapple, and we bottled it and are excited to be giving it out to our clients over the holidays and for their closings.
Yeah, it's a great gift for employees, coworkers, certainly your clients. We do a lot of business with companies like the Lally team in using it for different gifts, and who doesn't love a free bottle of wine, of course,
Well, I love this pineapple wine, and I can't wait to enjoy it over the holidays. Now, if any of our viewers want to, buy their own or bottle their own, is it best to order from the website, or can they come in? How can they get a hold of it?
Yeah, the best way, because our wine list, the wines we have available for purchase and for private labeling are constantly changing because we have such a large list. So best to either email us at just info@oenowinemaking.com, or you can call us at area code 808-263-6366. And that's the best way to schedule the first step, which would be tasting. And then we figure out what wine you want, and then we move forward with the process. The final step being what you guys have enjoyed for years, which is coming with your group, doing a little team building, doing a little bit of tasting, and then bottling up your own wine with your own personalized label.
Now, what if we have some people that are watching that they're not here? Are you able to ship this wine to the mainland? How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can ship globally. We've shipped to all over Asia. We're getting ready to go to Bahrain and India next month with some customers who have clients there, and across the mainland. So it's very simple. You just call us or come in, figure out the wines that you want, and then we, as the producer, have the authorization and the licensing to be able to ship almost completely nationwide, with the exception of just a couple of different states. But yeah, shipping's actually very, very simple and easy and convenient.
Well, I know with the holidays upon us that this is always a very popular kind of gift, and you guys are super busy during the holidays. Is there still room if people want to come and meet up and do this wine experience?
Yeah, we're getting tight. I mean, obviously, we're at the second week in November now. So the schedule for December is getting pretty tight, but we still have room. We still have availability, and there is still time because we keep about 124-liter barrels in stock as completed, ready to go wine just for this season, because it does get a little bit crazy and it bottlenecks a little bit. But if you guys have interest, anybody wants wine with a personalized label, which is also very easy and convenient, it's all done by the computer. We can accommodate you. Just give us a call or shoot us an email and we'll be happy to help you.
Nice. Attilio, did you have any questions for Marshall? Oh, you're on mute. No wonder you've been quiet. We can't hear you. There we go.
I wasn't saying anything. I was just messing with you guys. What I'm doing is pulling up I'm emailing it to myself because I want to share with people the wine bottling that we just did a week or two ago. So once I get up on that, I will share that with you on the pictures here on the screen share. But in the meantime, the location, you know, just to clarify with everybody, it's kind of like Haleiwa Joe's. It's in Kaneohe, and you guys are in the Kapa'a Quarry, but you're not on Kauai. You guys are on Oahu.
In Kailua.
Yeah, it's in Kailua, it's kind of like between the freeway and Kailua in that space, like paralleling to I don't know, you know what I remember for the people that have lived there for a long time? You guys are on that back road where the old drive-in used to be, and I think it's Les Jardins is the
yeah, that's right. You have to pass that coming from the Poly, and it's so cool being up here because, you know, we are still in Kailua and we're minutes from the Kailua beach, restaurants, bars, all that. But, you know, once you get on Kapa'a Quarry Road, you really are off the beaten path. You're in the country. And, you know, if you look out from our winery, the view into the mountains, you know, if you daydream and imagine a little bit, you might even be able to see some vines of grapes growing out there.
Yeah.
Now, Marshall, with all of these shutdowns and the craziness of COVID, maybe you could, you know, share a little bit of what you did to pivot as a business owner to stay in business. And then it seems like you're now like really just thriving.
That's a great question.
Yeah. You know, first I want to give a big shout out and a humble love to all those other small business owners out there. I know it's tough. It's been really scary for us as well. Thanks to all of our customers, both new and returning, for supporting us. I mean, you're right. We have made a good choice and a good move up here. People seem to love it. The customer response is amazing. And we've had, number one, about 50 new wine club members sign up just in the last 3 months that we've been here, which is pretty much unprecedented. You know, how we got through COVID, it was a number of things. You know, we just stepped back at the beginning of the pandemic and kind of put together a strategy. Obviously, it's had to morph and kind of be flexible throughout. But number one, the customer response. Number two, the new location, which has been, we just feel so blessed and lucky and fortunate that it was responded to this way. And then a lot of the government programs, you know, there was one or two early on, such as the PPP and the EIDL or EIDL loan from Small Business Administration. And then recently there have been a couple more statewide programs in terms of grants and loans and stuff that have helped us get through. So, you know, barring any other shutdowns, which are just simply devastating on the economy and the community here in Hawaii, I think we're going to be able to pull through. And I'm knocking on a lot of wood right now too, just being humble and thanking the people that got us there, you know?
And I just want to say, I think it's important to point out too, make it a win-win for y'all. Y'all been home sheltering, you've been dying to get out. We've been working with Marshall and his business for many, many years. It's one of our favorite places to do a little bit of day drinking. No, I mean just sampling, and then sampling.
He's sampling right now.
Yeah. And it's good for the heart because tannins, right? Tannins are good for the heart.
Yes, absolutely. And just like you can't trust a skinny chef, you can't trust a non-alcoholic winemaker.
There you go.
So what are you sampling right there, Marshall? What do you have?
This is actually our flagship Artisan Series. Our Artisan wines are in-house blends that we came up that all have like a neat little story to them, or an experience that either me or my staff had with a particular wine. This is the Five Frenchmen. It's the original true 5-grape red Bordeaux blend from that region in France of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, and Malbec. Now, all of our wines here on the premises are naturally made with very little preservatives. They're very young, and so you don't get any headache, no hangover, no chemical aftertaste, because they're just not so heavily preserved for the purpose of drinking young. Pretty much crush, ferment, and you're meant to drink or consume pretty much immediately.
Now, is that one of your favorite reds, or do you have another one that's like high on the list?
Well, I would say the Artisan Series in general, reds, whites, and then red-white blends are my favorites, just because they have a little bit kind of special place in our heart, either mine or our staff. But the Alentejo Douro, the Portuguese red, is another one of my favorites. That's a Portuguese style, very sharp and spicy and leathery, based on a grape called Tempranillo. And then the other one in the Artisan Series is the predominantly Syrah. It's about 85% Syrah, blended with 15% Viognier. So it's a red grape, white grape blend called the Bass Ackwards. And I know it's kind of a play on words, but it's kind of a backwards way of making wine, right? You blend red grapes and white grapes, which is kind of unheard of. Plus, all the ingredients are from Australia, where everything's upside down anyway. So we thought Bass Ackwards would be a good name.
Yeah.
So creative.
Backwards, I can't even say it correctly. I've been drinking. No, I haven't even been drinking. But you guys have interesting ways to verbally describe what the wine, the bouquet, as well as the taste. Have you ever used the phrase a water from a rubber hose type of? No. What are the more interesting ways that you describe like the bouquet and the taste?
Well, number one, most importantly, and really the reason that we started this business in the first place, was to enable people to enjoy this beverage, wine, in a much more relaxed way, a much more relaxed atmosphere. A lot of the perception out there, certainly here in the United States, is wine is a little bit kind of untouchable. It's very, very fancy, very pretentious. And wine just doesn't have to be that way. When you go to Europe, they'll bring you a bottle of wine without a label on it, and you can just drink all day long. You start drinking at lunch, and you drink wine all day long. So it's not presented in any type of a serious or, snobby way. And when I got back to the States from Europe, that's what I wanted to present, that environment where people can come in, whether you're experienced or not, whether you're a beer drinker or a wine drinker, whether you're young or old, whether you know stuff about wine or not. You can come in, and it's a really cool, relaxed environment. With a wide selection of wines, pretty much something for everybody's taste. As far as the way we describe our wines, it's really a sort of a direction. I always give the name of the wine, of course, and the grapes that are in it, and then the story that goes along with it, if it happens to be one of the artisan blends or whatever else. And then I kind of let our guests experience it and come up with their own bouquet. I'll give a direction, like it might have cherries, blackberries, and a hint of star anise, for example. But the customer drinking that same wine might taste cinnamon, or might taste strawberries, or might taste something along the same line. So I like to give people the direction, because I'm only as good as drinking the wine as well. And everybody's palate tastes different. So again, there are a lot of places, especially here in the US, where you can go, and if you don't taste exactly what the winemaker or whoever's pouring your wine says you taste, then you're kind of made to feel a little bit stupid, for lack of a better word, when it comes to wine. Whereas here, it just leaves it open for interpretations, which I always like to say, everybody's palate tastes different. Everybody's going to smell and taste a little bit different. So we just leave that open a little bit to interpretation, giving a sort of direction or a little roadmap to go, but allowing people to kind of come up for themselves what they like and what they smell and taste.
What I like about you guys' wine is that it's so tasty that you guys don't waste a drop of it. Like
not one drop.
Glass, drink, and gone. You're right. And that's with everybody. We used to have pouring buckets on the tables and stuff, and it's just made to be a much more relaxed attitude. And even if you don't like that particular wine, even if that's not what you go to the grocery store and it's your first choice. You know, usually people finish the glass anyway because it's that much more relaxed.
Yeah. You know, one of the things too is that, you know, a lot of local people, you know, especially, you know, I'm on the west side, we're like, oh, got green bottle. Oh, I see green bottle. And they're thinking Heineken. Nothing wrong with, and I've done it myself. I'm not a really big wine drinker, more of the other team, more Adrian. So I'll bring some Coronas and stuff like that. And as part of the wine tasting, and then I'm doing my beer tasting. But I think it's like what you said, you know, because I've been to, Adrian, where did we go? Where was that we went? And it was all these high-end wineries. What was that place again? In California. We were visiting our good friends.
Oh,
Temecula?
In Temecula.
Yeah, Temecula. And that was really
interesting story about Temecula. That area has blown up over the last like 15 years. I used to drive through Temecula on the way to California from Las Vegas, and it used to be just a valley with no wineries. And over the last, give or take, about 15 years, it's really blown up. I think there's about 100 different wineries out there now.
Yeah.
And that goes for the entire country. You know, there are vines growing from Alaska to Florida, from California to Maine, and everywhere in between. I actually know of a couple of wineries in a town called Grand Junction at 9,500 feet above sea level in Colorado. So not only are they breeding these grapes to be more hardy in terms of climate zones 1 through 12, and Hawaii, incidentally, is 11 and 12. So we're subtropical and tropical. So a little bit too warm for most grapes. But it's kind of cool because grapes for the production of wine are the third most lucrative crop in the world, behind a couple other things, which I'm not sure I'm allowed to mention. But it's really exciting that grapes and vines and wineries and stuff are popping up everywhere. And the business of wine production does not always go hand in hand with the farming of grapes. For example, the reason we have such a wide selection of wines is because we pull grape juice and skins, and then of course oak, from all the major growing regions around the world. So literally everywhere: South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and the West Coast of the United States, South America. And so we're able to produce a ton of different wines, and they all are distinctly different, even if they're the same grapes. For example, a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc is going to taste different than a South African, different from a California, and different from a European. So it's neat to have these one next to another, because they are distinctly different.
Now, how many different wines do you carry, Marshall?
Well, our full list, what we are allowed to purchase. So we have agreements with farmers across the world that where we can source up to 300 different wine ingredients, either single varietals, which would be one single grape in that wine, or blends with multiple grapes in that particular blend. Then once it gets to Hawaii, it's raw grape juice, grape skins in differing levels of dehydration, and then oak in differing levels of toast. And then we blend depending on what the result is that we're going for, either a well-known wine like a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Chardonnay, or a less-known wine like, for example, the Bass Backwards, or our Soave, or our Mystification. You know, over the years, we've gained a little bit of confidence in what we're doing. And with this last production run, we probably, since 2012, made somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30,000 24-liter barrels, which is really exciting. Wow. And I feel like we're only just getting started.
You know, Marshall, are you coming to us on a phone, or what device are you on?
Yeah, unfortunately, I forgot to bring my GoPro in for the computer, so I'm on a phone. Yeah. Well,
here's what I want you to do. I'm glad that you're on the phone, because you're going to take us on the tour. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to turn your phone this way to go landscape.
Okay.
And then walk around, because now we're going to see.
There we go. Perfect.
Now we have a wider view. Can you show us the warehouse, the winery? Show us your winery.
Yeah, take us on a tour.
Yeah. So right now, let's see. Hold on. Right now, you're looking at the tasting room.
Yes.
So that is our tables right behind me, and then our pergola with the lighting, and then art from a local artist named Frank Oliva. And then, of course, all of our legal stuff, like our licenses and stuff, is right there. And then this behind me right now is an example of about 80 of the 150, 200 different wines that we do. Let me see if I can zoom it in a little closer.
Yeah. Yeah, we can see it.
But you can see not only the, I'm not real good with selfies, so I apologize, guys. But you can see the origins as well. You know, Italy, New Zealand, Chile, Australia. So that's kind of interesting. And then if we go back into the winery, now behind me is, whoops, hold on. There we go. Now behind me is our bottle rack. That's about 300 bottles, all prepared for either bottle purchase or tasting. So we usually have about 10 different wines and about 40 bottles of each wine ready for tasting at any given time.
Nice.
Then if we go past, and I don't want to trip over my own wine, but you see those white buckets back there, the 2 levels of white buckets, that's actually live fermentation. That's the first step where we blend grape juice, grape skins, and then the oak, and then hit it with the yeast and allow it to ferment. So that's pretty interesting. And right now during the holidays, that's about as much wine, those are all 24-liter barrels, as we make about every 2 weeks. So it's pretty busy. And then right next to that, those are 1,000-liter fermenters that, because of COVID, unfortunately, we haven't started using yet. But that's when we scale up with our pineapple and coconut wines, the really popular ones.
I thought
and
maybe
then over here,
grapes and we were going to stomp on it with our feet.
oh, yeah. We'll probably do that someday, but not yet. And then these are the wines that are aging.
Yeah.
So these are just pretty much ready for bottling.
Well, I was going to say, if you had a wine from the Winery region and we could stomp the grapes, we'd just call it toe jams.
Ew.
That sounds really good.
And then, well, thank you for taking us on a tour. Real quick, I wanted to show people, because we got to give kind of like almost like local directions. So there's the and if you guys can see here where I'm pointing, there's you know, you're going, the H3 is right here. So you can either go this way towards Kailua, and right there is the Les Jardins, or if you're a local boy born and raised, that's the drive-in theater from back in the day. You can either drive that way, or I guess you could go into Kailua and hook a hard right and come this way. And you guys are located right in that industrial area. So for you,
that's for the industrial area is really big, and it's got warehouses everywhere. So navigation has been a little bit of a challenge for us. Instead of, here's a tip, if you want to come and see us and it's Wednesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., always use the nav with our company name, not the address. So it would be Oeno Winemaking typed into your nav, and that should bring you to the correct location.
You know, that's a good point that you made, because we used the address and it took us over here, and this would be more of an appropriate location if like we were murdering somebody and needed to dump off a dead body. But then we realized no, we don't want to murder somebody and dump off a dead body. We want to find Oeno. And so we went back, and you know what? This is the thing that I tell people: don't be so focused on looking at your phone that you don't use this new app called Look Up, because right here on this fence, you have a big banner that says wine, your logo, and
wine
it says
tasting with the arrow.
Yeah.
Yep,
with
so
an
look
arrow.
out for that wine tasting sign.
And then you go down here,
and
right here, and
yeah,
right
no, and there might be some dead body storage, but not nearby us anyway. So yeah, you see the banner right there, and then like I said, if you use the company name, not the address, it's gotten a lot of people confused, not only because it's confusing up here, but we just moved. You know, we just moved into this location 3 months ago. So a lot of we worked really, really hard to try to update everything so that people didn't automatically go to the old location.
Yes. So if you guys are big fans of Oeno, then don't go to the old location next to the, what was it, the English pub, or I forgot what it was, the Kailua pub. But
Go to the new location, the new and improved location.
And you know what? after all of this, and you still have a hard time finding their location, do not drink anything when you get there, because you won't even make it home if you haven't.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. You got to drink when you come.
That's right. So we are wrapping it up with our Facebook Live, because people are like, I want to go there right now. Is this Adrian? Was this the phone number?
Yes.
Marshall,
that's the number. Yeah. Okay.
And your guys' website is oenowinemaking.com. And that's it. Any final thoughts, Marshall?
Yeah, you can actually book your reservation on our website, or you can call, either way, or send us an email. Yeah, we're here and we would love to see you guys. Outside of that, I can't thank you guys enough for having me on your show, and keep drinking some wine out there. I'm trying to shaka, but I need to get it into the camera. There we go.
There we go. It's all around. It's a shaka fest. Okay. And stay with us.